Hey, everybody. So pardon me if I drool on myself. I'm about 10 hours out of my time zone. We work in Seattle, so I've been here since Sunday, trying to get back on a schedule that makes sense. So the question we ask is, where would you rather play if you go to a casino? Would you rather play in a very empty casino on the left where there's nobody at the tables, there's no one to talk to, no one to buy a drink for, get a drink from? Would you rather play in a busy casino where there's lots of action, lots of people talking, lots of people drinking and having fun? Well, we believe that a busy casino is more exciting than a slow casino where there's nobody there. And for the most part, most social casino games are single-player experiences. They are connected to Facebook, and they're called social because they take part of the social graph. But there's no other, in general, not many other players to play with. So we've always, we started out as an MMO company. Our first game was called Our World. Our World's a teenage girl's virtual world. 8 years later, still runs today, and that game still pays almost all the salaries of everybody in the company. That's the great thing about these community-based games is they just stay around forever, because once it becomes part of people's lives, they have incredible retention. So it is a truly social casino. We have never less than 4,000 players on the servers, and everybody has visibility into each other. So all 4,000 players can communicate, chat with one another, know which of their friends are online, and go jump to wherever they are in the virtual world at any time. So it's a full-service casino. We have all the major games: blackjack, multiplayer poker, multiplayer video poker, bingo. We have 2 different kinds of bingo. We've even figured out a way to make a solitaire gambling game. We have over 60 slots. We have a hybrid slot and bingo game called Fringo. And we have a sports book and a new 5-card draft game where you play a 5-card poker game, but you're playing with cards from football players in American football. As you might expect, when you're in one of our multiplayer games, you're using an avatar, you're standing around a table, similar you would in other games like ours. In poker, you're in a hot tub. But even when you're playing slots, you're still in a room with 10 other people on the left-hand side. So you have full chat capabilities with any of these people. You can click on them, find your profile, find out a little bit about them. Everybody has a heart. So if you like somebody, you can give that heart to them and see if they reciprocate. You only have one heart to give out at any one time. And certainly, you can either chat to the entire room or chat individually from player to player, where only that player sees your chat. The other thing that's really cool that happens here is anytime you get any jackpot of any kind of size, and we set different thresholds for different machines and different bet ranges, your character announces it to the room. So it says, hey, I just won 500,000 coins on Hearts and Moons. And so the room sort of gets that kind of excitement for you. It's almost like you're in a casino and you hear the bell ring 2 rows over of someone else winning a jackpot, and sort of gets you excited about what's happening in the game. We also have a nightclub. There's a swimming pool. There's a restaurant. There's a country western bar. This is an example of a party. These are all real people having a party, buying drinks from one another. They can dance. The characters are capable of 100 different moves. There are 40,000 different things that the characters can wear. So there's an infinite variety of how the players can look. And with 100 different moves that they can do, lots of dances, lots of things they can do to go to parties and have fun. We have a wedding chapel where 40,000 people have gotten married in the wedding chapel, and the couple here actually got married in real life. We know about 100 people have gotten married in real life. This is their wedding in the wedding chapel in the game, and this is taken from their wedding in real life. So what does this mean? So we run about 60 cents per day per DAU, so we have one of the highest ARPDAUs in the business. The average, I think, is around 24 cents for most social casinos. We're really the only one that's multiplayer. You could probably consider Big Fish to be multiplayer as well, because they have chat, and even when they're playing slots, there's the icons of people around. But nobody has near the kind of virtual world setup that we do. So let's compare a single-player experience and a multiplayer experience. So there are good things about single player, and especially when it comes to gambling games. You do want a bit of focus when it comes to casual games in general and to gambling games specifically, because one of the things that players that play slots in particular talk about is being in the zone and staring at the machine and watching what's happening on the machine, and the machine sort of like it's putting them kind of a trance-like state. So that is one good thing about a single-player game, is that there aren't any distractions to sort of take you out of that zone. The cons are it's lonely. Most of the people that are playing casual games, and especially casual casinos, are bored out of their minds and have no one to talk to. So it's a distraction for them. It's a place to go for them. But if they can go someplace and play a game and actually meet other people, I think that's even better. You can achieve a lot of things in a social casino game. You get more levels. You might get more games that you can unlock, things like that. But those achievements don't mean a whole lot if you're just playing by yourself. If you're playing in a group of thousands of people, achieving something, getting a new, unlocking a new game, or getting a new title for your character, getting some sort of rare piece for your character, that means a whole lot more if there's a lot of people around you to notice that. And we do a lot of social purchasing in the game, so there's no option for social purchasing in most social casino games. You'll see what social purchasing is in a couple later slides. And of course, cost of switching is huge. So if you're part of a community, you know some people, especially games like bingo, where we have ladies that come every day at 2 o'clock to play their bingo game with all their friends, and they know everybody that's going to be in the room with them. Those kind of games have high cost of switching because once you become part of that group, part of that community, you're very, very, very unlikely to go play another game at any point. The pros of multiplayer is it feels exciting. There's people around, it feels like there's action, it feels like there's other people doing what you're doing. You can expand your relationships. I mean, people really do fall in love in our game. People really form real friendships, and they feel like they really know the people that they're playing the game with. The cons are it's technically challenging. So the infrastructure costs are higher. The coding requires more engineering work. We'll get into some of the other challenges later, but there's also drama. So there's assholes in every crowd. There are people that are trying to piss off other people. You have to police the community to make sure that people are getting along. People will gossip. People will start rumors about the game. All kinds of crazy things can happen because there are people in the game that are talking to one another. And of course, it's harder for us to get the game out on mobile because it is a virtual world experience. Once you get down to a handset, that's hard to replicate. So the business case for us is really that there's higher player retention, there's higher conversion to pay, there's a steam pressure that causes players to sort of, be more likely to pay, be more likely to continue to play the game because there's other people around them they're trying to impress. There's things to buy for other people and for people to buy for you, which increases, spending. There's gifting, so we have one-to-one gifting and one-to-many gifting. And the cool thing is that you sort of have a real-time focus group. So I go into the game at least an hour a day. People know who I am. They know I'm the CEO. They come to me with their problems. Hey, I can't find this new game, whatever it is. But it's cool. I love it. I love going in the game and throwing around some free currency for people, just saying hello to everyone. It's a fun way to take part in what we created. But the great part of it is we do a launch every 2 weeks. I find out immediately if there's something that somebody doesn't like or if we've done something wrong in that launch. So really handy. So these are some stats about our retention. So I think the best one is the average 256 days since registration. So we keep people for an average of about 8.5 months. The game's only been around for about 2.5 years, so we expect that to get longer and longer as we go. The average player plays at least every other day. So we talked a little bit about this already, about what does boost retention. Because people make real friends, they come back and they see those friends, and they come back often at the same time because they know when those people are going to be online. And the other thing that we find is that even the people that we've taken into focus groups and have played the game, or that do play the game, to talk to them about their experience, even if you don't engage with other players and you're not the type of person to chat with someone, it's still fun to watch that go on. People tell us that they enjoy just being in the slot room and watching other people chat, just seeing what they talk about, regardless if they're the kind of person that would actually chat with somebody or not. So even though chat's not for everybody and being part of it, engaging with other players isn't for everybody, being surrounded by that is exciting and fun for people that are lonely, sitting at home playing by themselves. Players are much more likely to pay if they're surrounded, by other players that are obviously paying for the game. Our conversion's about 3.2%. Industry-wide, the conversion's about 1.8%. And some ways that we expose the paying players to the non-paying players is, on the left you'll see the players that are playing slots. and you'll see little icons next to their names. Those icons are lucky charms that they've purchased in the game. So the people that don't have those icons see the people that do have the icons and realize, wow, I wonder what the experience is like if I was a paying player like these people that have those icons there. So they're more likely to try it out because they see other people trying that experience out. Same way here, if you're a VIP, we have two different VIP programs. One is a $6 a month VIP, one is a $20 a month VIP. Everybody that has a small icon next to their name, they're a VIP. If you have a color one, then that means you're paying $20 a month. If you have a black or white one, it means you're only paying $6 a month. If you have one, none at all, then you're not a VIP. So this really encourages people to be, to show that as a status symbol. So, like I said before, you're much more likely to enjoy achieving something in the game if you can show that off and other people can see what you're doing and see that you've achieved that. And especially in our game, how you look matters. People change their clothes every day. Especially when we launch new clothing every 2 weeks, they go to the store, they buy the new clothes, and they go show off those new clothes to their friends. So social purchasing, excuse me, we've talked about. So there's two different ways of social purchasing. In our game, you can buy a drink for the room. So if you're in a room of 10 people playing slots, all 10 people, including you, get one of those drinks. And what happens is the odds of the game go up for as long as that drink lasts. So typically a game will pay out 92 to 95%. As once a person buys a drink, the odds of the game go above 100% for as long as that drink lasts. And the drink, those odds will stay up depending on the cost of that item. So if you buy a 25-cent drink, you might get 5 spins. If you buy a $10 drink, you might get 100 spins. There's also one-to-one gifting, so you can buy stuff for your girlfriend, for your friend, just directly as well. So this is a breakdown of where we make our money. So most social casinos sell coins. That's their entire business, is selling coins to the player. For us, 9% of our revenue is from selling coins to the players. Almost all of our rest of our revenue comes from power-ups. So we have individual power-ups like for bingo and Fringo and other games that you can buy. And about 5% of our revenue comes from those power-ups. We have personal power-ups you can buy for yourself, which change the odds just for you. And when you can revive those when they wear out. So about 16% of our revenue comes from the personal power-ups that people buy just for themselves. But after that, you can see the vast, vast majority of our revenue comes from social gifting. So these themed social power-ups, the elite social power-ups, and the normal social power-ups, all of those are drinks that are purchased for the room, things that people buy for the other players in the room. So you're at a blackjack table, you're at a poker table, you're at in a slot room, you buy a beer for everyone. And then the one-to-one power-ups and one-to-one party passes, those are gifts that people purchase just for one other player. So social gifting is a huge thing for us, and I think a great thing to have, and it's only possible in a multiplayer game like ours. You really can't gift much in any fun way if you have a single-player game. Talked a little bit about this focus group. Yep, I love going into the game and talking to my players, and most of them don't actually believe I'm the CEO even when I tell them. So there are a lot of challenges to do this. There are a lot of server challenges. There's a lot of chat issues, and I'll tell you about a player rebellion we had. So hosting, it's not as easy to maintain the hosting architecture. When you have thousands of players, you're tracking the state of all those players, especially if there's 25 people at a party, and they're all dancing. You have to communicate the state of that player's dancing to all 25 people in the room simultaneously, and every time the character moves, you have to update that. So there's a whole lot of bandwidth required to make that happen. There's a whole lot more images that are stored because every character in the game, every person that's ever created a character in the game, we store images of different poses of that character in a server. So a lot of storage requirements. And there's a lot of middleware that's created just to manage the games themselves. Chat filtering, anytime there's chat, you have to come up with different ways of filtering that chat. We have a blacklist, which limits which words you cannot say. We have a whitelist, so some players have been behaved badly, so we only let them say words that are in a dictionary, so they can only select from the words that we want them to say. But ultimately, people will beat any chat filter you put in front of them. So one way we defend against that is what you see yourself type isn't what people see you type. So you can say bad things all day, and you'll think that you're cursing up a storm in the room, but everybody in the room sees the filtered version of that. So that's one way to keep a player from figuring out what the actual filtering is by not letting them see how you're filtering it. We actually had a rebellion last April where all the players got together and refused to pay anymore. They felt our prices were too high, so they organized a rebellion and came to me and said, we want a 20% discount across the board. And I said, yes. I'll sell you those pixels for 20% less. It's the only time it's ever happened. I hope it doesn't happen again. It was pretty ugly. Rumors spread fast. I mean, people will talk about, oh, this is a terrible machine. It doesn't pay out. I think it's paying out at 55%. All kinds of crazy stuff that gamblers believe gets spread through the community really quickly, so you have to do what you can to sort of quell those rumors. We have lots of tools that players can use. This is how a player, if you can click on any player in the game, and this will come up under the block section. So you have the full control to block a player from communicating with you. If 3 people agree that somebody's an asshole, he gets kicked out of the room he's in. Or if you send a report, it takes a snapshot of the chat that was in the room for the last 2 minutes or so, and it sends that chat to customer service. People like me actually have this far right button where I can just kick anybody out of the game I want to. We have monitors in the game. Most of these people are volunteers. They don't work for us, but we pay them virtual currency for hanging out because they're mature players that have been around for a long time and know the rules. So we like having these people to sort of keep an eye on things and report to us when they see something that shouldn't be going on. This is just a screenshot of some of the tools that our customer service guys have in terms of different levels of punishing a player when he's been a bad actor. I guess the most stringent of which is we have a machine blocking. So we put 9 files onto every player's machine, and if a player really, really misbehaves, we can block their entire computer from ever using our game again. It's worth it. The past 3 years, we've gone from 4 million when we launched to 20 million a year this year. So I really think that multiplayer has been the piece of that that's made the difference for us. That's it. Thank you.